Today we're going to start working on the front brake lines on Michael's Mark III. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is a beautiful day here in the IE427 garage. We have just a beautiful day outside and a beautiful day to be working in the shop. Today we're going to be working on the front brake lines on Michael's Mark III. The reason that we've waited this long is because we have been postponing or putting off doing all of the front suspension on the Mark III. And I just figured while I was up there doing the suspension work, changing out the coilovers, putting in the new upper control arm adjusting sleeves, inspecting everything and like that, since I was already going to be up there, it'd just be easier to do the front brake lines then. So I'm going to make that a separate video, but this will give you an idea of how we run the brake lines. I didn't show you guys how we pull, what we did to pull out the old ones. Basically, I just cut all the lines out because it had the 4-channel ABS on it before, and there was just lines running everywhere. There was no rhyme or reason to any of it. So we are much more organized in the manner in which the brake lines are going back in. It's just a single brake line to the back. I think I've shown that in the past. And then we'll have a single line out of the master cylinder for the front that's going to tee off on the driver's side of the car and then loop over to the passenger side of the car. So let's jump right in. I'll give you a quick overview on what's going on and what we've done, and then wrap it up with where we're going to stop for today. All right, starting with the brake lines in the front, I went ahead and I've got the soft lines that are going to be going to the new calipers on. So these are brand new hoses that we picked up for the Cobra 2-piston brake calipers, and I've got those on both sides. So that was the passenger side. Over here is the driver's side. So we've got those in. We're utilizing the factory 5 brake line brackets that they provide with the kit. These are just some leftover ones. On the Mark IV kits, they're now providing 2 different sets. One for the Willwoods and then one for the standard soft Mustang style brake line. So I always seem to have extras of these Ford or Mustang style. So I utilized a pair. I had extra of those. The brake line clips are on the back. That holds the fitting in, and on the back of the fitting there is a inverted flare tube nut that ties in. Now they are side specific, so the left side of the car has a different size than the passenger side. So keep that in mind if you are using the stock Mustang brake hoses. Then I went ahead and started running brake lines. So I've got the brake line tied into there with a tube nut. This side I believe is 3/8 24. That's a inverted flare. And then got it wrapped around and routed along the back of the front X-frame over to the driver's side. And then I went ahead and I made a tube coming out of the driver's side soft line, and we're going to have a T right over in here. And I looked through all of my stuff here in the shop and didn't have one, so I'll be picking a 3/8 by 24 inverted flare T tomorrow at one of the local auto parts stores, and then that'll pretty much wrap it up for the front brake lines. I don't know if I'm going to mock up the brake booster and master cylinder again like I did for the back brakes and get that ready or not. I might, but I think what I'm going to do over the next couple days is start working on the front suspension. So I'm going to pull the coilovers out. I am going to pull the upper control arms apart, and I have the longer adjuster tubes right here, and so I'll be putting those on after I clean everything up and lubricate everything and put it back. We'll be taking the lower control arms out, checking the bushings on those and the inner sleeves to make sure there's no unusual wear on those. And then it'll all go back together with the new coilovers. So, all right, I did make it out to the auto parts store. I guess it's yesterday. And I picked up the brake line tee for the brake lines. That's going to be over here on the driver's side of the car. But I think that's where I'm going to leave the brakes for right now. I did get word from Michael that the headers for the engine have shipped. And not knowing where they're shipping from until I get at least the first tracking where they are, I'm hoping they're just a few days out. But I'll have a better idea once I get that first tracking order. Right now it just says that the label's been created, so that's not very helpful. And I don't offhand remember where we're getting them from, but regardless, so once the engine goes back in and I can finally put the steering shaft, you know, the headers, the brake booster, and the brake master cylinder in for good, hopefully, then I'll be able to finish that brake line for the front brakes. The back one's already in. I've already got a service loop on it, and it's ready to be tied in. I even went ahead and put the ISO bubble flare on the end of the line, so it's ready to go. I just didn't, I don't want to get ahead of myself and make up a line and then find out that something's going to be in the way. So I'm just going to hold off on that. All right, that's going to do it for today. If you look in the back over my shoulder, you get a little sneak peek of the next video. The suspension work is done. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to release that in a separate video, so you guys will see that real soon. The brake lines for the front are really pretty easy. We're not using the factory 5 supplied lines because it was just easier to, you know, buy a roll of the 3/16 brake line, since I have all the tools here to flare the ends, straighten the tube, and all that stuff. We just made our own, and we just usually rough cut that to what we think, you know, the length is going to be, add a few feet to it, and then kind of fabricate the line, you know, around the car in order to make everything fit. So as you can see, that one on the front turned out pretty nice. We're still in the process of cleaning up the chassis, filling a lot of the holes. There are just so many holes drilled in the chassis from old components, hose clamps, you know, the little P clamps or cushion clamps, as they call them. We're just going to fill those with colored rivets rather than grinding the chassis down and filling them with weld and then, you know, metal finishing them and painting them. Most of them are in spots that you're really not going to see, and those that are, the black-headed rivets are going to make them, you know, blend in, and you're really not going to see them. So thanks for watching. We always appreciate the views that we get. If you'd like, go ahead and hit the little subscribe and the notification bell, and we hope to see you next time. Have a great day.